Learning a blank Gemara. We are up to Daf Mem Beis Amud Aleph. We are learning from Bal Hashar Naki that if your animal stoned, gored someone and killed them, then the animal gets stoned. And then it says the Bal Hashar Naki, the owner of the shirt, comes out clean. So we had before about it teaching you even the hide you don't own, but then we learned Rabbi Elazar Hook, it says that you don't have to pay half a kaifer because you would think a Tom pays half of the damages. You're supposed to pay half of the kaifer, the money that you pay when an animal kills somebody. So you don't do that. Now the Gemara says there's another drasha, 4 lines on the top of the page. That men base Amar Aleph. Tani Edith will another brisa. Balasha Noki. Basically says Noki from what? It's Mevelodis. For example, we learned that if a man strikes a woman and she forfeits her I guess a fetus and everything else. So you would think that in the case of an animal that he should be paying for the velodis. He says no. Bala Shenoki, you don't have to pay for the velodis. You don't have to pay. Because by a man, it says if there was no accident with a woman, she didn't die, then the man has to pay for the velodis to the husband or the wife. But if the woman dies, then your particles come with rabbinate, because you're going to get killed for killing the woman. But what's Bala Shenoki, where Membez Amad Aleph, about 6 lines on top of the page. What did we learn? The fact that if the animal kills a person the first few times, that the owner is Nucky clean, doesn't have to pay for the. If she miscarried, doesn't have to pay for the children, the babies. But a man, if he kills a woman, and then he doesn't pay for the babies either. But if he strikes a woman and she doesn't die, then he has to pay for the babies to the husband of the wife. Omar Kiva said, "How do you I need a pasuk special for that." It says in pasuk, only if men have a struggle. Anoshim shvarim, that only if men have a struggle, they have to pay for the babies. For the feeder, but not if an animal does it. I don't need an extra pasuk balashur. So Kiva has a valid argument here. What I need a pasuk balashur not to tell me that you don't have to pay. I do need it. Sometimes I would have thought Anoshim. I would have read the pasuk differently. I would have thought by Anoshim men v'loishvarim only those animals that are similar to men. A man, even the very first time, pays the full damage because a man is a muad la'ila from the first time a muad. So I would have thought animals which are like a man, which in other words they are a muad, okay, so they're exempt from paying for the velod of the children. But what about a tam? Maybe he has to pay. That's why you need pasuk balasher. Noki tell that even a tam doesn't pay. Man, noshim muadim, ashvar muadim. Only that's potter hot tam, but a tam the first few times, mechai. Maybe if the tam caused the woman to miscarry, you should pay for those babies. Mana balasher noki the potter. Omar Rabba said the famous saying. Mama Rav says, "Oh, this makes sense." Yitziva ba'ara, the permanent citizens live on the ground. The kiyoda and the immigrant, b'shmei shema, you elevate them on a pedestal, you put them up in heaven. It doesn't make sense. That muad, there was a muad. You say you don't have to pay for miscarry, causing a woman to miscarry, but a time, oh, you got to pay. Does that even make sense? And I need a pasuk to tell you don't. Elamar is the other way around. I need it. You know why I need Balshanaki? I would have thought. First, I would have thought, read the pasuk, Anoshim Shvarim. I want the men and not Shvarim. That means an animal like a man. Hadoim Lanoshim. I would think, okay, a muad is potter from Velodus. And I would say, well, for muad is potter, surely a tam is potter. Ma Anoshim Muadim, Ashvarim Muadim. The Kabbalah surely tamin. Then surely for muad is potter, so is a tam. That's how I thought. The then the Torah said, Bala Shoinoki, and that pasuk is talking about a tam to tell you that this patur of killing the babies is only by a tam. But what would it then be by a muad? You actually have to pay. No, tam potter. No, the purpose of Balashanoki is not to tell you that you don't have to pay for velodus, that you know anyway. The purpose is to tell you the inference, but a muad will have to pay. That's what the Rava says. Abai says if that's what the idea is, that the pasuk is coming to tell you not exemptions, but where you have to pay. So there's another thing we learn out from there, that boishus, an animal doesn't pay for shaming or when you damages somebody, a person has to pay for humiliating that other person, but an animal doesn't. And how do you know? Because the pasuk that talks about humiliation when the woman got involved in the struggle talks about men. So we say men, but not cows. Following your whole logic, it would say that a tam doesn't have to pay, but a muad should pay. That's what you would have thought. A muad should pay for the shame, and I need Baal Hashem Naki. Sorry, I'm to tell you that a muad has to pay according to your logic, and only a tam doesn't pay, which is a big chiddush, and that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Elamiyata, following your logic, if an animal shames a person, name a hachi, anoshim. First read the pasuk, but that pasuk is talking about shaming as well. If the woman stretches out her hand and tries to save her, help her husband out, anoshim v'lo shvarim, only a man but not an animal. Adam knows a muad is pot. Ma'anoshim muadin, ashvarim muadin, and tell you what, that an animal muad is potter. And then you'd say kabachayim tamim. Surely a tam is potter as well if you shame another person, an animal. If an animal causes damage, the pity. Then harder kosher rachmana balashanaki. Following your line of logic, balashanaki, that the owner of the share does not have to pay by a tam. By inference, we therefore say, but a muad, if the animal was habitual, then and habitual gore, then you have to pay for the shame. Tam potter muad chayiv. What's the problem with the buy? Maybe taka. If so, why does lisne balashonoki? What does Rabbi Yishai learn out from balashonoki? Potter mid mevladis. You don't have to pay if the animal, the gorer goes ahead and causes the woman to miscarry. You don't have to pay for these embryos. Why does he also add? Following the same logic, we're learning from the pasuk balashonoki that you're exempt. A tam is exempt from paying for the embryos, and also exempt from shaming another person. Why didn't say that? Because your logic is wrong. Ella by anoshim. This is how they learn. A man, if he hits a woman, if he kills a woman, you don't have to pay for the blood. Why not? Because come labor derabane, we're going to kill you for trying to kill the woman, for killing the woman. Therefore, you don't have to pay the money. So therefore, the pasuk says, anoshim ein asan beisha yanshu by men. If there was no accident by the woman, then they pay the money. Yes, also be sure the woman died, then they don't pay the money because the kameh b'drabanan. But the pasuk says only men, but not cows. But if since a shor does not get killed, there's no kameh. So the shvarim, we would have thought, has to pay the money, and that's why I need Baal Hashoy Naki to tell you no, that the shor does not pay for the money. I would have thought by a shor, even if you kill the woman, you have to pay the money. Because I'm on a Baal Hashoy Naki. That's what the Baal Hashoy Naki to tell you the potter is potter. That's what the Rabbi and Abaye say together. Look at that. Abaye asked Rabbi a question. They joined forces and came up with an answer. Masker about it, but Adam came along and said, "You remember we had before? Chizkiah says that if you did an act that comes with that the punishment by death, even if you did it b'shegig, so you're not going to be punished by death. Even if you did it unintentionally, so you're not going to be punished by death. But the act itself is an act that can bring to death, for example, capital punishment. Then you don't pay for the money." That was Chizkiah. But not everyone agrees. And one of those people doesn't agree about it. He says it has nothing to do with the fact you kill a woman, because sometimes by a man, you kill a woman and you still have to pay the vlodas. For example, you had in mind another person and by mistake you struck the woman. Because he holds that it doesn't, only time that you get killed is if you actually had her in mind. But if you had someone else in mind, so you're not going to get killed for it. If you're not going to kill for it, you actually have to pay money. So therefore, he says to Rabbi Abaye, your whole drush is not correct. Has to do with whether you get killed or not. The kavanah time also. So he agrees with Rabbi, he just modifies it. He says, this is the story of the cow. We're drawing a contrast between a cow and a person. Anoshim by men, not always by men. They sometimes they don't have to pay. When? If they intended to kill the woman, and then she miscarried, they don't have to pay, because then you're going to get killed. Come with Rabbi, because he intended to kill the woman. But a shoyer, even if he intended to kill a woman, there's no come of the rabbinate by a shoyer. A shoyer would have to pay. Comes along Baal Hashoy Naki and says, no, you don't have to pay. So he agrees with the Bible, but he's just limiting it, not to question of whether she died or didn't die, but whether you had intention to kill the woman or not. I'm not sure by men, if he had in mind another person, even though she died, she pay money. But by men, if you intended to kill this particular woman, then you don't pay the money for the embryos because for the baby, because come live rabbinate. But by a shari, we would say, I feel this if you intend to kill the very woman, you should pay money. Therefore it says Baal Hashoy Naki tell you that an animal is potter. Thank you. Also, Rab Chagi came from the south. Also, Icy Masjid really brought a brisa with him. Kavos, he came from Israel. They brought a brisa with him. Adam and Abba, supporting of Adam and Abba, which is the same as a Bible of, except he's limiting it more. Not the question of whether you kill the woman, it's a question of whether you intended to kill the woman. But the idea is the same. By man, you put by a show, you think you'd be chayiv because there's no common b'drabbanei. That's why you need Baal Hashoy Naki to tell you that even when there's no common, an animal does not pay money for blood. So that's a second drasha we have. So one drasha Baal Hashoy Naki, you don't pay half a kafir. The other one is that you don't pay for the v'lodus. Comes along a third drasha. Comes along. Tanya went on the third way. Baal Hashoy Naki. Rabbi Kiva says, "No, come teach you. Naki midmei eved. If the shor killed an eved, you pay $30. But the if a person kills an eved, he pays $30. But if a shor does it, you don't have to pay." Says the Gemara. We're talking about a tamid. Says the Gemara. Remember, Rabbi Akiva asked Rabbi Lezer yesterday about Chatzir Kaifer. The tam, what happens to the tam? The tam is you bring it to court and you kill the animal, and you get paid megufay. So with what are you going to get the money of the kaifer for? Once you kill the stone, the animal has no value, nil value. So let's Rabbi Akiva ask the same question to himself. I need a pasuk to tell me that you don't pay money, $30 whatever. Where are you going to get it from? Since you're going to stone the shirt, and I know you're going to stone it. And once you stone it, what's the value of the shirt? Nothing. So we're going to collect. Before you stone it, the machlek is a shayim. In fact, this Rabbein Tam uses the night. It's only after you stone it. It's only also not after you stone it, after you kill it, not while it's alive. But when you, yeah, I'm saying so. Once you kill it, it has nil value. Where are you going to get the $30 from? The name of Gir Nafshi ask himself the same question. Well, they asked me, Mr. Al since it's the time you only get paid from the animal itself, so let him use expression. Have you let bezin? Okay, you want me to pay $30 for that? Bring the animal to bezin. You stone it, worthless. The Shamloch and find somewhere in this animal $30. Obviously, you can. We're talking about a case where the owner came before the bezin yet paskin that the animal deserves to be stoned. You shechted the animal, so there's value here because the bezin never paskin. So we would have thought you should pay the $30 from this value. So you want to ask the opposite question. So why don't we answer the same Rabbi Lezer Hurkus? Rabbi Lezer Hurkus said yesterday that you don't pay half of the kite for the redemption money, that compensation. And they asked, and Rabbi Kiva said, I don't understand. You bring the animal to court, there's no value. Once you stone it, they should have answered. But what happened? He shechted before the bezin issued a final verdict. Same thing. We just answered him. Since he's going to get killed, I've got the shachter. That's what Rabbi Kiva says. Why did you answer the same answer to Rabbi Lezer? That you shechted before the bezin handed down its sentence. So it has value. I would have thought you should pay half the kaifer. You pay half the damage, pay half the kaifer, and tells you no. What's Rabbi Kiva? Says you're right. Kiva knew that. The Sava, but he thought, Dilma, I want to tease out of my Rebbe a better answer. Dilma Islay Time Achrini, the other mind. Maybe Rabbi Lezer has a better answer. That's what he tried to do. Says the Gemara, namely Rabbi Lezer Nami. Why talk to Rabbi Lezer answer this? We learned yesterday Rabbi Lezer gave two answers. One was a better answer. Maybe we gave an example of the fish, the big fish and the small fish. One was a really good answer. He had in mind one thing and he killed another one. He had in mind, let's say, an animal, he ended up killing a person, where the animal doesn't get killed. And therefore there's no death over there. And we would have thought you should pay half a kaifer, could kill the person. And the other one was if an Eid Echad saw, or the owner saw where the Eid Echad cannot, cannot extract money. So we would have thought maybe kaifer you should pay. A weak answer. So why not? If you really give weak answers, give this answer also. But why doesn't he answer this as well? No. Rabbi Lezer didn't want to give this answer because he said I have a much better answer. What was the answer Rabbi Lezer gave? The animal wants to kill an animal. By mistake, killed a person. Over there, there's no death. The animal didn't do anything that deserves to die because he tried to kill another animal. So we would have thought in that case, let him pay half the kaifer l'chol pachat. He killed a person, and we told you the pasuk bala shonok, you don't have to pay. But over here, there's no death here. So of course, there's a good reason to believe the show should pay at least half of the kaifer. But the side our thought, and the chayiv, let him pay half the kaifer. It's a call I need bala shonok. You tell me you don't have to pay. I will hochav here the mikara baktolu. The fact is the animal killed a person, and the fact is will be brought to bezin. Eventually, bezin is going to sentence that this animal should be put down. So therefore, if the animal is going to be put down, okay, it didn't happen yet, but the animal is going to be put down, then obviously you don't have to pay the. Exactly. So it's logical you shouldn't be paying for anything else because the animal is about to be killed. Exactly what you're saying. The animal is about to be killed. So logical. I don't need a pasuk bala sharnuki to tell me you don't pay, for half of the kaifer or you don't pay for the blood because the animal is about to be killed, even though you didn't sentence it yet. The animal is primed to be sentenced to death. Like Sarkar in the pasuk. I forgot the shachti, even though the bez never paskin and the animal is shachtin, it's obvious that the animal doesn't pay. Because if so, I would just talk to make sense of what you were thinking. So why talk in the pasuk to exempt the maybe others? You tell me because they shechted early, but the animal is a dead animal walking. Elam Ravasi. I Milsa, this following answer, me Pigabra Rabba Shemili. I heard him, a great man. Umani, who was that? Rabbi Yisib Rabbi Chanina. And he goes as follows. Rabbi Akiva is of the opinion we had always in the beginning of Sechta Avdal that a tam, you only pay half the damages. But if a tam killed a person, the tam should pay the full damages. In fact, Akiva talks about the person caused damage to the animal, let's say $50 worth of damage, and the animal caused $100 worth of damage to the person, you work out the difference. So we see that he holds that a tam is like a mu'at when it comes to vis-a-vis a person. So would have therefore thought that maybe that this animal should be paying, paying you like a moor. Where does the moor pay from? From the assets, not from the animal itself. So what do you tell me? Oh, bring the animal to court. You're going to stone it. It has no value. How are you going to get your $30 for the? Oh, but Rabbi Kiva holds that the animal, if it struck a person, is actually has the same din as a muad. And where does the muad get paid from? Not from the animal itself, but from the assets in the house. So I would have thought collect the $30 for the evet from the assets of the house, and can't tell me, oh, but collect from the animal. Rabbi Kiva holds that time killing a person is not collecting from the animal. So the Gemara, you make the difference. Is mishtal named me'eved ma'ali. I would have thought that you should collect the $30 not from the animal itself, but from the asset, because the animal is treated like a muad. Because he doesn't pay. Says the Gemara, what kind of answer is that? But Rabbi Kiva broke down his din. He limited his halach. In other words, even though on the one hand he says you got to pay the full amount, but he says clearly it's only from the animal itself. You never go back to the end of the day. It's still a tam. The only chiddush is that a tam hurting a person pays the nezek shalom. The time of Kiva Yochel, I would have thought, since I'm treating it like a muad, Yishalom and Aliyah should pay also from the assets of the house. Therefore, the pasuk says, "Kimishpat hazeh." Now, what Yasli you should follow when mishpat hazeh, follow these rules. Megufa mishalom, the ain't mishalom. So even though Rabbi Kiva holds that the time pays the full amount, but where are you collecting from the animal itself? So therefore, the question goes back to Rabbi Kiva: why would you think you pay $30 once you stone that animal? So that animal, there's no value. Where would you get the $30 from? Elam Rava says Rava, Itzich we need. I would have thought that an evid is unique, that you have to pay $30 regardless. Why? There's a chumrah by an evid that's more than an ordinary person. An ordinary person, depending on the value of the person. You kill a person that's worth a seller, you pay a seller. The kaifer, nosam shloishim, the person is worth shloishim. Then noisim shloishim, you pay the true value. But by an evid, you always pay $30, which is many times a chumrah. The evid himself might be worth a lot less. Yafasela, noisa shloishim. The evid might be worth. So what does that show? An evid is so strict. I would have thought that if an animal killed, okay, you don't pay kaifer if he kills a person, but maybe if he kills an evid, you should pay the $30. Mishtalim namid may evid. And maybe minaliyah, maybe this is unique, and this is taki. The animal itself is worthless, but maybe the din should go for the assets and collect from there. That's why it says that he doesn't have to pay the $30 evid. So you need it because you would have thought an evid is different. And Tanya, in fact, we look at the brayso just like that. There is a svara that an evid is stricter than a ben chayrin, and that's why we would have thought that an animal should pay that $30 penalty, 30 shleim penalty. What's the brayso? Tanya kavas sidrava balashay noki. So the pasuk balashay noki. Rabbi Kiva says, what does he come and tell you? Noki with my evid that a shoy does not pay the 30 shleim the class for an evid. Why would I think otherwise? It's like common sense. I need a pasuk. If an animal kills a person, kills an evid, you chayv in both cases. So I would have thought, by a person you pay kaifer a mak, you chayv ben chalakta by ben muad. When you pay the kaifer, there's a difference. A tam pays nothing, and a muad pays the full kaifer. Right? I would have thought that the evid should be the same. Nechalik by ben tam muad. The same thing. A tam shouldn't pay anything. I need a pasuk bala. You tell me I need a pasuk bala shornoki that a tam does not pay the $30 of an evid. Why would you think you do? Why would a tam killing an evid, killing another person is the same thing? And a tam, you pay kaifer. When a tam kills a person, you don't pay kaifer. Only the Yesi holds you pay half a kaifer. You don't pay kaifer. So why would you think you pay the $30 an evid? That's how Akiva is saying to himself. But furthermore, ben chayim is stricter than an evid. Ma ben chayim should nice and kol shavya. You pay the full value. Could be $1,000. The chalak to ben talmud, your tam pays nothing. Evid shein noiser shleishim chayda. Right now we're looking at it from the lens that a shleishim is a cooler leniency because the evid could be worth a lot more, and yet you're only paying 30. So surely a tam shouldn't be paying it. In addition to chalak ben talmud, so what I need a pasuk for? Loy machmaneni, loy no. Machmaneni be'evid yoyz v'chayr. Rabbi Kiva continues. No, there's a chumrah stringency by evid that you don't have by ben chayr. Different. I would have thought that the tam should pay the evid. Where do you see a stringency by evid over an ordinary person? Sheben chayrin yofasela noisasela. I can look from a different lens altogether. I can look at it that there's a stringency by an evid you don't have by ben chayr. For ben chayr is not worth much. You pay whatever it is worth. Shloishim, noisim, shloishim, depending on seller, shloishim, shloishim. But the evid, an evid, even though it has so little value, yafis seller, nevertheless, noisim, shloishim. Yachol yeh chayiv. I would have thought that you should be chayiv. that therefore the Tam should pay for the Tam. The Bala Shainoki, that what? That you don't have to pay the money for the Eved. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow, Mr. Shep. For Chanukah, see you.